Hello. Welcome back to the Choicest Fruits podcast. And we're here today wrapping up almost.
Yeah.
Coming to a close with the worship series. We're having this.
It's not actually that sad. It's okay.
I feel like it's almost good.
Yeah.
We've pretty much beat the dead horse.
Yeah.
So today we're going to be talking about how to prepare a set list. And
Yes.
by us talking about it, I mean more so Mac,
Yeah, unfortunately.
because I have no experience.
Yeah. But here's the thing. This is an interesting one because we probably don't actually have that many worship leaders listening besides myself. And
One of the three.
my brother probably. So, I mean, I don't want to do like a ton because, it might not be the target audience for this exactly. But even if you're not a worship leader, I'd encourage you to listen to, and maybe you can have some semblance of what goes on in the background kind of too, and have some
Yes.
understanding of that too. But basically we'll hop right in.
Hop,
Yeah.
bounce right in.
Yeah, let's do it.
We'll like bounce right in.
Yeah, we'll just go
We'll just
right in.
take a leap.
Tape a leaf. All right.
All right.
So, essentially, I'm gonna be basing this off of here at Elam. We had a brother Dick Grout, who was the who was the worship director here for like years, many years. Worship director, and he was a professor as well. He taught music theory, a bunch of different instruments, pretty much all the instruments, and also like worship leadership. And so funny things, my dad actually teaches for him now because he retired a couple of years ago.
Shout out.
Enough. And then we are gonna be kind of basing this off of Brother Dick Grout's book that he wrote called The Art of Leading Worship. I was half expecting you to say. I'm glad you did not. So yeah, we're gonna be basing this, and what I kind of did is narrowed it down to like basically 5 steps to creating set lists.
Creation.
Based on the book and also biblical principles.
I don't know if you guys know, but I'm a big creationist.
Gotta be honest.
Gotta be honest.
Yep.
Big creationist
So
when it
that's
comes
what
to
I've created.
set lists.
Created a set list. All right. So yeah, this is the ideal progression of what you should do as a worship leader every week, or what your worship leader should be doing every week. And a lot of people might not understand, which is partially why I think it's a good idea to kind of do this or listen to this even if you're not a worship leader, because it's not just like, I'll have some people sometimes that'll like give me a song request too, and I'm like, I do appreciate that.
Yeah.
I'm like, if it comes up, I would do it. It's not just like I'm not going to do it because of that, but it's a lot more. It's not just like I'm putting a playlist together of my favorite worship songs or something like that. There's a lot more that actually goes into it. So the first thing is going to be your spiritual preparation.
Prep.
And this is arguably one of the most important parts, is your set list must be born out of the leader's private history with God. Public leading is an overflow of private worship.
Yeah.
Right?
Wow.
We talked about that kind of in some of the other episodes, but if it's coming out of your secret place of worship, that's how it should be. If it's coming out of again, with my testimony, I was not doing it for the right reasons previously. And a number of years ago when I started leading worship, the first year or two that I was leading worship was out of a secret place of sin, basically. Or like it says here, your private history with God. I didn't really have a private history with God even, because I was just living for the world. So my set list at that point was basically just any song I wanted, any song I liked musically or whatever. There was no spiritual depth to it of saying like, oh, well, I'm filling up my personal well or something to pour out in worship to God into the congregation. There was none of that back then. So don't be like that. Please.
Hold true to the prep step.
There you go.
The prep step. One, prep step.
Getting secret
prep.
Place. Yeah. Secret place of God.
Secret place.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's coming out of your secret place. And usually the way like I would create my set list, or I know my dad, who's been a worship pastor for 35 years plus, I think, at least 35 years. And other worship leaders that I know is they kind of will they'll be worshiping. They'll go and they'll play guitar, piano, whatever, and they'll sit and worship, and they'll have the songs come to them that way because they're like actually doing the act of worship, not just to prepare for a set list, but saying like, hey, Lord, can you speak to me and whatnot. Mm-hmm. So I don't know if you have anything to add or on that.
Matthew 7:20 something. Oh, didn't I cast out demons in your name?
Yeah.
Didn't I prepare wonderful worship sets that sounded great? Mm-hmm. Didn't I lead people in worship?
Yep.
Depart from me, I never knew you. You know, that's what that kind of reminds me of.
Yeah.
And I mean, that kind of goes like with leading, but also just in general.
Yes.
I feel like I know this is kind of whatever, but off topic slight. But
fine.
Not really. But like, it kind of is just a overall first step for anything ever.
Right. Yeah, it has to be.
Is to have this preparation step in the creating of a set list is kind of a crucial element of living a Christian life. And unfortunately, a lot of people seem to not have the time, seem to not have the discipline to do that. And it's definitely important.
Yep. Yeah, I'll reference this for like our preaching class. You have to first focus on basically what God said in the text, not even to like the congregation you're preaching to, but literally just what God said to the people in the text. Like you have to keep it extremely scripturally based, and that's the way to do it safely, and also so you're honoring the actual text. And in the same way, you know, basically the point of that is so that you don't focus too much on what you want people to hear or do or think. That's the last part. That's still important, but I'm not thinking first and foremost about like what songs I want to do actually, right? Which seems counterintuitive, but that's how it should be. You're focusing on first and foremost worship, because that's the whole point, and you're focusing on God. And it's not even just in the actual preparation, it's just this is like a continuous thing. Yeah. It's not just I'm doing this if I'm going to lead a set. It's my whole life needs to be that, which I'll say right now, I struggle with that. Like I'm not perfect at that by any means. Yeah. But it's still important. That's the goal. This is your standard of you should always try to be living kind of keeping yourself clean in a sense. And two more examples from scripture is the story of David, where he was anointed to be king, but he still lived as a shepherd boy for years. Like he was anointed when he was like 12 or something, like pretty young. And then he was actually stepping into kinghood when he was like probably 30 or I would say that's more. A good rough number. Yeah, rough. I'm just throwing numbers out, but he was definitely waiting for at least 10 years minimum before he was actually stepping into the calling that God has for his life. And there's a lot more in that story, but in the sense of he was faithfully serving God for all those years before he was actually put out in front of people, right? Before like he put a set list out, in a sense, he could principalize it, if you will, and then take that and apply it to your life where we're doing this in secret, in the secret place. That has to be, that has to be the source. But also the priests in the Old Testament, in order to enter the holy place, they had to keep themselves clean. Yeah. Or else they would literally die. Of course, we are grateful we are not under that anymore. We're not under the old covenant.
Jesus tore the veil.
Yeah.
Hallelujah.
Say yes. Stay home. Yeah. So we don't have that. Yeah. Oh, no.
Talk about a worship song.
Future episode.
Definitely a future episode.
And then, anyways, we'll talk more about that. But, yeah, they don't have that. We don't have that anymore because we're under the new covenant. Yep. But the idea of that is still, like, you want to be keeping yourself pure in a sense to make sure that you're, the way my dad has put it is, like, you have a pipe for water to flow through. The water is not from us. The water is the Holy Spirit or God or whatever, And then if you think about a pipe that would be all clogged up with, like, what, sin, just worldly influences, calcium, hair, and then you have that gunked up, but you want to try to keep that pipe clean so the water can flow through it uninhibited, right? You don't want to be a hindrance. You want to be an assistance, right? You want to be helping in that sense. So,
I mean, kind of expanding on this topic slightly. There's this book I read, and I forget who it's by, but it's called The Ruthless Elimination of Hurry. It talks about how hurry in the modern church is the number one killer of faith. Yeah. People seem to be too busy now. And that's kind of, it was a very interesting read. I definitely would encourage you guys to read it. The Ruthless Elimination of Hurry. And one of the big things it talked about was, like, electricity. And since the invention of electricity, we've been staying up later. Yeah. And it makes more time in the day to be more busy.
Yeah. That's true.
And that one gets rid of, like, that takes away time that we could be devoting to God. Yeah. Because things just get planned. I'm not saying, like, having a plan or a schedule is bad inherently. Right. Right. Like, because I literally have a job tonight. I probably won't be back to the room till, like, after midnight. Yeah. So it's like, it's obviously there's things that come up, and getting less and less sleep makes people more anxious and angry and more emotional. Yeah. Towards the negative side. Yeah. Which then makes them not want to do disciplined things. Yep. Which cycles back again how hurry just kills faith. Right? And if we go back to the natural order of things, I was talking to Anna's dad about this, actually. Yeah. Shout out Anna. I don't think I've shouted out Anna yet. Shout out Anna and her dad. Good. Oreb. He and I were talking about this book, and he was like, yeah, I realized a lot that, like, when you go back to the natural order of things and the way creation is supposed to be, if we look at the animals, they go, when the sun comes up, they wake up. When the sun goes down, they go to bed. Yep. Simple. You know what I mean? Yeah. And they live like, as long as they're supposed to, when it, like, biologically, like, as long as they can, because of that. And we were just talking about that and kind of circling it back to this. The way we were created was to have, like, the walk with God in the garden. Yeah. That's how we were created, to have, like, immediate family. You're like, I'm one, I'll talk to my mom. I'll call my mom as much as I possibly can. But, like, am I doing that with God? Right. And going back to this prep step. Yeah. It's a very, very difficult discipline to keep. extremely.
Yeah.
But it's good when we do that in the sense of we're going back to that order of creation, the way that God intended to have the relationship with us so we can be used by him.
Yep. Exactly. Yep. And that leads us into the second step, which is establishing your focus.
Yeah.
Right. And so this is kind of secondarily establishing your focus, because your focus obviously is God. Mm-hmm. But the second part, in specifically creating a set list, would be kind of trying to focus on a specific, and I'll define this in a second, but a specific revelation of who God is. So a certain area or a direction that you're pointing in, and not just because you feel like it, but because God is pointing you in that way. So when I say revelation, I don't mean something new or extra biblical, obviously. Yeah. I just want to establish that, because revelation is technically meaning that. Mm-hmm. What it really means is illumination. Is an illumination where something that's already evident about God in Scripture or in your life or whatever is being revealed in a whole new way to you as an illumination. Like, it's jumping out at you. It's being illuminated. Like, if you're looking for a coin in the dark and you shine a flashlight on it, it's going to shine. Because the light's going to reflect back. And so that's what I'm kind of... That's kind of what I'm talking about here, where we're seeing something that is a specific aspect of God's nature or character or something that's jumping out at you. We've talked about songs already, but this is where it gets really to the heart of that song issue, is that some songs are not talking about a certain aspect of God's nature necessarily, right? And so then it's like, well, what's the point, So I try to keep it focused on certain aspect of God's nature, and I'll tell you this week, because I'm leading worship this Sunday, putting together my set list, I really felt like the Lord put the goodness of God in my heart. So I'm doing songs that are centered on his goodness, right?
Wow. It's almost like there's a song titled that.
Yeah. You are good, and then goodness of God, obviously.
Classic.
And then I'm going into... Now I forget. I don't even remember what I said.
So the rest of the songs are gone?
Yeah. I forgot.
Deleted.
Goodness of God. And then... anyways, but yeah, song centered on God's goodness. And I'll say it if it comes back to me. I just don't have it in my brain.
Just randomly blurt it?
Yes, I will blurt. Oh! That's why I messed it up, because it's not you are good, goodness God. It's you are good, King of my heart.
Yeah.
'Cause you are good, right? And then goodness of God.
Tough.
And then how great is our God.
How great.
Right. So you start kind of with the personal aspect of, this might even be jumping ahead, but you start kind of with a more personal aspect to draw people in a sense. Because that first song says, you are good to me, and I sing. Because it's still focused on his goodness, but it's making it personal. But then at the end, you're completing the upward swing to how great is our God. Yeah. And all will sing how great, that's very, very vertical. And so that's a little... After I act, well, no, never mind. Because after we post this, the set will be over. Unfortunately,
check it out. Check it out.
Yeah, go online. YouTube.
Word
of Life Christian Fellowship.
Wolf.
Whatever date it was.
Word of
yesterday.
Wolf.
Yeah. Yep. Exactly.
Wolf.
Yeah. Defining your focus. And like we said, it's not anything that you come up with just saying like, oh, I really want to talk about, it could be, I guess it could be, but it should be coming from God. Like, usually I start out just praying like, God, what do you want to accomplish this week? Like, what do you want? Like, what do your people need? Because how am I supposed to know what the congregation, like, what they're coming in with that Sunday, or what they're like? I don't know that. I might know certain little aspects of what's going on in people's lives, but God knows the heart. God knows what's on people's hearts and what they need to hear in order to worship, and that's how we can access that to get the
access.
Yeah.
Access point.
Yes.
Access spot. Drop site.
Connection.
OneDrive.
We're not sponsored.
Not sponsored by Microsoft.
Okay. So yeah, some biblical examples of this are, there's a lot, I guess, because if you look all throughout the Psalms, David always focuses on something specific, like the mercy of God, or the protection of God, like really anything. There's always kind of a specific direction that one of the Psalms will take, I guess. And that's the sense that you could do it. And I will say, too, sometimes I do feel led to focus on something that's obviously focused and centered on God, but also not directly an aspect of his nature or character. It still is, but I know this one time I felt really strongly to do like kind of hungering and thirsting for God. Like just desiring connection, desiring to be with him. So I pushed that route. But obviously that's still centered on God and his principles too. Like draw near to me and I will draw near to you. It's still, focused on that. And of course I'll throw in, make sure I throw in some worship songs, because like you want to always have that as an aspect to your list. I don't know if you have anything.
I mean, no. The only thing I was gonna say is like, if the goal is hungering and thirsting after God, you would probably want to pick songs that are like, God satisfies and He is the fountain that satisfies.
Yes, exactly.
Stuff like that.
Yeah, the song I did that time was "Come to the River," which the bridge is "Only You Satisfy."
Exactly. Yep.
Or that might be even a spontaneous part. But I did that part. I know that's a part that I did, because like, or like King of My Heart, for example. It says, "You're the King of my heart," or "Let the King of my heart be the mountain where I hide." And it's talking kind of personally, but then it gets to the chorus. "'Cause you are good. You're good." Yeah. Which is just boom. Like, it's right there.
Yeah.
So yeah, different aspects, always focused on God, or should be, at least. Yeah.
Good. I like
so that. Then we get into more practical, right? Which is step 3, selecting songs.
Selection.
So this is there's 3 criteria to this song selection process, which is also kind of going to be resounding what we already said in the song selection, a couple of these, but they must be theologically sound, biblical soundness, musical accessibility, and context. So we already talked about context. I'm going to kind of just knock that one off, even though it's the third step. I mean, they're not steps. They're just different lists. So it doesn't matter the order, I guess. But we already kind of talked about that. It needs to, like, whatever theme, stay to that theme.
Stay.
I've been in sets before where it's like I can tell there's not really a specific theme, and it's kind of like, it's like there's, as a congregation member in those moments, it's kind of uncertain. Like there's a level of uncertainty. You're like, well, I'm enjoying worshiping, they're great songs, but I'm not sure where we're going with this, or what's the goal. So it could be kind of, just be careful with that, I guess, to stay on theme. But and then you get the biblical soundness, which is, again, something we kind of covered a lot already. You should be essentially singing scripture, or scriptural principles. Colossians, we know, let the word of Christ dwell in you richly. And then we already read that in terms of talking about the different types of songs. But that says letting the word of Christ dwell in you richly. So that's the basis of the songs,
Facts.
So songs speak to us more than you might realize. And if it's bad theology and you're singing that and letting that speak in your life, what are you going to believe? What are you going to learn? It happened
again.
Yeah.
Again, it happened. I went to a different church. I was at one church when I talked about it in episode 2 of Worship Series. Now we're in episode 5 of Worship Series. About a month later, and the song was in the other church.
The same song.
Same song.
Yeah, and
in the mighty
church
name of Jesus, I pray.
At, but
neither of us are there. Nando was there.
Yeah. Yeah.
In the mighty name of Jesus, I pray. Every weapon formed against me must break. No! Bad theology.
And
not
that
true.
could give you false hope.
Yeah.
In that specific context, if you're singing that out and you really believe that, then when the weapon doesn't break, what are you going to do?
Cry.
Yeah.
I would cry.
Yeah. So.
And also,
yeah,
like we're talking about context and themes.
Mm-hmm.
What would that go under?
What?
What theme is that? What attribute of God song? Is that song?
Victory.
Yeah.
But still, that's not like the nature of God. He's always victorious. We know that.
Good song.
What song?
You know.
What?
I don't know.
Okay. But anyways, yeah, that idea. You want to stay to biblically sound.
I think it's called victorious.
Stay in context. I don't know.
Oh.
We will not be moved when the earth gives way, for the risen one is overcome. Is that what you're thinking? I don't know. This is a victory thing. Anyways.
No.
Yeah.
Shout out.
Whatever song you're thinking of, we'll shout it out. And, yeah. So, the last point on here is kind of funny because I actually just saw a video about this the other day, which I think they took it a little too extreme. But basically, music in worship that we're talking about here is congregational. It's corporate, meaning don't pick a key that's too high or too low for the congregation in general to sing, right? Or, you know, for example, you have to know your worship team. I'm not going to pick certain songs if I think it's going to be too hard for the worship team, because that's just going to become a distraction.
Yeah.
And there's also certain songs, even if they are completely biblically sound or even if they are completely on theme, I'm not going to pick them still because I feel like they'll become a distraction. I don't want people to get caught up more in the rhythm of the song or the music of the song than they do worshiping. Right? So you got to avoid all distractions. So, you know, this is just a brief example, but make a joyful noise to God, all the earth. Not just the musicians, not just the team, all the earth. So everybody should be able to sing along. And that also goes into familiarity. Don't be picking a new song every single week or something that the congregation doesn't know. Yeah. You know, there's nothing wrong with doing the same 20 songs on a rotation or something like that, because you want people to know the music. If they don't know the music, then they're not going to be able to sing along with it.
Yeah, that's something I noticed too.
Yeah.
The church I used to go to, there was a new song, at least to me. I mean, obviously I go to school
right
here.
Yeah.
The church I'm talking about is when I go home.
Yeah.
And every time I went, I would be reading it off of the thing, and it was less of like actually worshiping, and it was more of reciting in this like manner. But like, imagine that though. Imagine that no one knew it. Terrible. And it's everyone like there's music playing, but everyone's kind of reciting it like a cult. Yeah. And you don't want it to be like that. It's not the way it's supposed to be, and stuff like that.
Yep. Yeah, you really
sorry. Wow. That was a bloggy in my throat.
Yeah, so you want it to be familiar. I'm going to try to create boxes here. You want it to be familiar to the congregation. 1. You want it to be easily singable, if you will. And then you want it to be musically sound or not distracting, basically. That's the musical aspect of that.
The tribe box theory.
Yeah. Yeah. So, again, know your team. If you think your team can't do it without distraction, don't do it. If you think that it's going to be new or too new, you know, the general rule of thumb that I've gone by at the church I'm serving at now and my home church that my dad is the worship pastor at, is usually if you're going to do a new song, only do like one in a set. Don't try to bring multiple new songs in the same set. they should at least be familiar to
eyelash
yeah. When you're picking out songs, don't let it be like an eyelash in somebody's eye that's bothering them.
That's a parable.
Yeah,
that's a parable.
Parabolized it.
If you will.
Yeah. So then you want to pick songs that are familiar and all that. Then we move into the structure of the flow of the set. This is very important. Actually, pause. I'm going to go back for a second because I just forgot something. There you go. Perfect. All right. So we're going to talk about key selection for a second. If you don't know, key is the letter
of the alphabet,
the song that the notes and stuff is what you're singing and playing the chords in and everything. So like, let's say for example, the key of C,
typical,
the chords and everything. It's hard to explain, but
G.
Yeah, those are the keys. And your key is basically determining how high or low or whatever the notes are that you're going to be singing or playing. And if you're picking songs and the keys don't line up, maybe do different songs.
Or pick a better key.
Yeah. And it's easier to pick a different song than it is necessarily to change the key, because sometimes if you can't sing in it, like it'd be easier for me to do all the songs in C, but maybe C is the female key for that song and I can't sing it, right? So I'm not going to do that song. Or I'll arrange it. Like for example, I tend to do the keys G and C all the time. Number one, because G and C, if it's a male key, is typically easy for the congregation to sing. Or sometimes it's high enough to where the male voices can sing the low part and the female voices can sing the part that I'm singing, because I do have a higher voice than typical, I guess. But and then I would arrange it though, so I'm not doing G, C, G, C and going back and forth. That's weird. Keep it uniform. You want to only be doing key changes like once or something, ideally, per set. And then keeping it simple, especially for your like the sake of your band too, like to say like, oh hey, we're gonna go. And I'm not gonna go into too much music theory, but if you have keys like G and C, they are relative to each other because G
is in the key of C.
Well, not in the key of it, but the chord G is in the key of C, and the C chord is in the key of G. Yep. So they fit together. You know what doesn't fit together? G and F.
C and
not
B.
Not really. Yeah, C or B.
You would think, because they're like next to each other alphabetically.
Yeah, but it doesn't.
Not at all.
They're also next to each other music scale. Because the music scale is alphabetical.
It doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Whoever made music did not think this through.
Yeah. So if you think about that, though, like transitioning, it should be pretty simple. My thing is always avoiding distractions. Don't make it distracting. Let people sing it. Anyways, that's my note on that. That's all I was going to say for that. So anyways, moving now again to the structure and the flow of your set list.
Wait, time out. Rewind. I had this event happen when I was a young child.
Yes.
We were in worship, and there was this one lady who could not stand great.
Oh.
And she fell in worship and broke her hip. As a worship leader, what would you do if that happened?
That's a tough one.
Yeah.
I would probably read the room. If everybody's like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I might think about quieting it down and saying a prayer or something like that. But if nobody's really distracted, I would honestly just carry on and let like the pastor in the room go over and handle that situation. Keep people focused, I guess.
Yeah. That's fair. Because what happened in the scenario is they just stopped everything altogether. And this was like 5 minutes into worship.
Crazy.
Out of the usual like 30, 40 minutes that there was.
Yeah. And
then we just moved on to the sermon.
Really?
Worship got canceled for the rest because of that. Obviously, I wouldn't do that.
That's crazy. Yeah.
I just wanted to hear that. Because we were talking about distractions.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah, that's fair.
Like reading
yep.
audience. That's a congregation.
That's a huge thing. And going back to Brother Dick, he always said, keep one eye on the Lord, keep one eye on the congregation, I think, or something like that. There was something about that. You want to keep, obviously, like, the Lord is your guide. He's going to be guiding you through your list and through the songs and through spontaneous moments as well, maybe. But you always got to keep an eye on the room, too. Like, not people-pleasing, but in a sense of, like, you're shepherding them. You want to be making sure everybody's with you and that you can, you know, because there's some people in the room that are never going to worship. You know, I've noticed that. I've been leading worship for a few years now. I know at times if I get looking out in the room too much and I see the people, or I focus on the people that aren't going to be really entering in, you know, then I'm going to feel discouraged, like I'm doing something wrong. What you should do is focus on the people that are, you know, entering in or in the middle, because there's always going to be some people that are like way, like right from the jump, they're, you know that they're worshipers. Crying. They're right into it. Yeah. And then you can have the other people that are not into it at all. So read the baseline, I guess, like the median. Don't cut your worship short or something because there's people that aren't entering in. And then don't also like feel like you need to keep pushing it because there are those people that want to go to the deepest place right away. That's not bad either. I'm just saying, like, you want to make sure you're keeping on track with, you know, kind of the median or
mode.
Yeah.
I forget those words.
I don't remember, but
shout out
in the middle
school math.
Yeah. So yeah. But anyways, third time's a charm. Moving on to the structure and the flow.
Okay,
right?
Prep.
Spiritual prep.
Focus.
Vision / focus.
Focus. Select.
What? And flow.
And focus.
Structure and flow.
And focus.
Yeah, and more so, you want to kind of take people on a journey. That's kind of what this is. I'll reference the church associated with Elam here, Elam Life Church. That's, you know, originally founded by the Elam Fellowship, which was an offshoot of the school, Elam Bible College. So they're connected. But anyways, I went there last year, and it was probably one of the first Sundays that I was there. It was like one of the most incredible times of worship, because they took us on this incredible journey. And usually you'll notice worship sets start out high, like you'll start out with jumping song or like a praise type song, but they started low, so switch it up. So it gets people out of their routine, out of the norm. They started on the lower note. And then they brought it really personal. I don't know if any of you know the song Defender. That song gets me.
Good
you picked
song.
up all my pieces and put me back together. You are the defender of my soul. Then they went into No One Like the Lord.
Oof.
And that starts to pick it up a little bit because, you know, the bridge is and you're jumping. You can get some intensity building at that point. And then they finished on a high note, right? Do you feel the mountains tremble? Or did you feel the mountains tremble? That's a jumping song. That's a celebratory. And you could tell. So the room was totally in that journey too. You start out, you're focusing on God, and you're kind of in the middle, just bringing people in. And then you get deep. And people are like, oh man, I feel that personally. I resonate with that. I can get there. And then you bring it up and you're like, hey, let's straight up to the Lord. And that whole journey.
Triumphant ending.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then I mentioned that already a little bit when I was talking about the flow for this week. You Are Good and King of My Heart is more personal, right? And then, I mean, goodness of God is bringing it more down to, like, all my life you've been faithful. You've been so good. The focus is still on goodness of God, but you're saying in my life personally, you've been so good. It's not just you are good as a concept. It's you've been so good to me personally. And then you bring it up vertically. So that's normally the progression, is that you want to start kind of being able to bring people in, also not compromising, because you want to be always focused on the Lord. And then you bring it completely vertical. Like once you get people, once you get them there, you take off, and it's that high peak mountain of worship where you get those songs like Worthy of It All or I Exalt Thee, and you're just at the super high point. You're just like at the peak of worship or something.
Good.
I don't know. That's kind of the progression.
Wow. Yeah.
Biblical is the tabernacle, right? You had the outer courts where everybody was allowed, right? And then you had the holy place, which you're starting to enter in. You're not quite there yet, but you're focusing in, and you're getting that. And they would be feeling the presence more as they were entering in. And then you get to the center, the Holy of Holies, which is like that mountaintop that I was talking about. Similarly, today, certain people aren't allowed to enter into worship. I'm just kidding.
True.
Not true. That was a joke. But you have to enter in. Kind of, you got to make that progression inward to the Holy of Holies in a sense, and that mountaintop experience.
Sorry, I was inward yawning.
I was going to say you were containing the yawn.
Yeah, I didn't open my mouth this time.
You were?
I was just so I didn't hit the edit, like, so you didn't hit the edit.
Oh, yeah. Last...
a few ago.
Couple episodes ago, whatever.
Spiritual songs?
Yeah, I think it was all the way back, yeah. For
Bro,
like
I don't know
30
why.
seconds, yeah.
30
second yawn. Yep. So... yeah, I mean, moving on, we're finishing up here, bringing home step 5. Step 5. Team integration and execution. Right. Principle is the leader must communicate clearly so the musicians can play skillfully and without distraction. It's funny that he says that because I actually said that as well about the distractions. We already talked about that a little bit. Yeah. But I do want to talk, this is actually a plug for our last episode, which will be talking about musicianship. But we're going to talk more about that, of the balance of excellence and worshipful playing and stuff. So I'm not going to go into that now. But we want to be able to carry out the plans that God has for us to carry out, to fulfill. In worship, in building a set list, and just in life. You know, we want to be able to carry out the plans. And God's not going to call you to something that you can't carry out, right? Yeah. He's not going to call you to do some crazy elaborate song or to do some crazy elaborate like thing with your life that you actually can't do. He's going to call you to exactly what you are called to do. He's going to call you to your strengths. He's going to call you according to the gifts that you have. And similarly to worship, we, prepare the set not as a theory of, this would be a great set. You're actually doing it. Mm-hmm. You have to remember that at the end of the day, maybe you have a great concept for a musical transition, or maybe you want to do some crazy key change or something like that. But you have to understand, there's a balance there. You need to weigh that and say, well, how comfortable would we actually be playing this on Sunday? And something I do every week to prepare is play through the list. Hopefully everybody does that. Yeah. I sometimes I do it genuinely, like a lot of the time lately I've been leading from piano. Piano's not my first instrument at all. So I want to genuinely practice too to make sure I'm playing the right stuff. And then still on Sunday, playing the wrong chords all the time. But anyway.
Shout out.
You want to play through to get a feel for the flow, and like everything that we have talked about in this episode really is not possible if you don't actually play through it, if you don't kind of do that, like getting the flow of it.
And that, along with like, obviously you want to pick something that you're able to play. Mm-hmm. You play every instrument I feel like that I have ever seen. Not actually.
Well, not quite.
Not actually.
No,
but every instrument that...
Main instruments?
Every main instrument that you see in a worship set typically.
Yeah.
That you play them.
Yeah.
All very well. Not everyone does. Sometimes you might lead worship, and the team, the drummer ain't no Daniel Rhodes from Jervis Campbell.
Yeah, shout out.
But again, you want to take into account that as well. Like here at Elam, people are definitely learning.
Yeah.
People are still learning.
Yeah, some people, it's their first time on the worship team.
Yeah, first time ever on a worship team.
Yeah.
First time playing this instrument in front of others.
Right.
Maybe even first time playing the instrument. Who knows?
Yeah.
You know, because I mean, you might just like be able to like learn chords and then hop in. You know what I mean?
Right.
So like, even in that, I know Anna, when she does her sets, she keeps that in mind as well.
Yeah, you have to.
Like, you definitely have to keep that in mind, especially with people who are, like, learning still and beginning.
Yes.
Still learning how to be, like, in a worship team that is functioning correctly. And with that in mind, you, as the leader, you want to pick that as well.
Yep.
For the execution.
Yeah. And, like, this is integration. So like your team working together actually to play a song. It's not like, oh yeah, sure, I can play a song.
Yeah.
But your team has to, at the end of the day, your team, not you, has to come together and play that. And yes, it's under your leadership. Like, you have to be able to lead people through, which is part of the way, like, when I have time, it's nice that I can play multiple instruments, because I'll actually play the set on all the instruments.
Other instruments.
Yeah, and I haven't done that recently just because I don't have time or sometimes access to those instruments. But when I was like leading worship over the summer and stuff at my church, and it was like my full-time job, I was able to go through and actually like play through the stuff and think exactly what I would want people to do. And also like taking notes and giving people a guide so they know what to expect on Sunday morning. You're not saving it for practice. Obviously, I say that because I'm used to practicing on Sunday morning, but not everybody does that, I guess. But whenever you're practicing, you want people to be prepared for practice and to carry out exactly what God has for you to carry out. And a small note that we'll talk more about is actually like musical parts of the song, like sonically working together to create one cohesive piece of music that's balanced and sounds good to you, the ear and everything. You got to be able to actually carry all that out and execute that in a manner that's, you know, glorifying to God and not distracting. Like we said, it's always about avoiding distractions. So yeah, but I mean that's what we got. 5 steps. Recap quick is first step is spiritual preparation.
First step, prep. And then you have to focus. Step, establish the focus. What are you focusing on the list? What are you focusing the list on? There you go. And then better. Third step, select step. Prep, focus, select, structure. No, focus. It's prep, focus. Yes. Select. Yep. Focus. Yeah. And then do team integration and execution. Team. Yeah. So, I mean, I hope you guys got something out of this, even if you're not a worship leader. Like I said, you can maybe think about next time you're in worship, man, I want to go on this journey because I know how much time they took to prepare or whatever. Yeah. Like something like that.
Which, don't worship because the worship leader prepared a list either. Yeah. I guess don't get caught up in that. But I hope it does help to maybe understand the behind the scenes. Or if you're a worship leader, I really hope that this could help you too.
Plug.
To focus on your worship sets, making your sets and everything. So. Join us next time. Okay. Join us next time for the last episode on worship.
Yeah, musicianship.
And a little bit of devotional kind of aspect to that as well.
Yeah.
So, we'll closing it out and doing it up.
We'll see you in the next episode.
CFP.
Out.
Out.